Alright guys, hey, it's Liz Stapleton here from bloggerbreakthrough.com, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about some Ahrefs alternatives for bloggers. So, if you're not familiar with Ahrefs, it's an SEO tool, and it's a great tool. Like, I'm not hating on it at all. I just find it's really hard to use. It does not work the way my brain works. The only time I've ever successfully used it was part of a course where they like explicitly were like, click this, click this, click this, and export. But it does a lot of really cool things. It does keyword research. It'll help you research your competitors, and, SEO or search engine optimization matters more than ever, because when people have a question, they Google it, right? When they're trying to figure something out, they're going to go to Google, whether it's how to set up that Zoom background, or maybe they need a more comfortable chair for working at home. Whatever the case, they go to Google, okay? So there are a lot of different SEO factors, a lot of things that factor into SEO, regardless of, what you're writing about. So there's, keywords, obviously, that you want to try and rank for, show up in the first page of Google for, query. There's also things like technical SEO, how fast your site loads, the bounce rate. There's a lot of different things that kind of play into that. And so you can use tools like Ahrefs or the other ones I'm going to talk about today, because I'm going to talk about alternatives, to do like a technical SEO audit. See if you have any broken links or pages that are broken, or, if stuff's really slow, it's just not working well. You can do a technical SEO audit and an on-page SEO audit if it's just a specific page you want to check. You can also monitor backlinks. So backlinks helps tell Google, if other sites are linking to you, you must be an authority on this topic, right? So you want to kind of monitor those, make sure they're not spammy. And like I said, Ahrefs is a great tool, but I think it's really for SEO experts, okay? And if you are a blogger, you're already wearing a ton of hats. You don't want to have to go in and become a huge SEO expert or pay big bucks for one. So you might want to look at some of these alternatives. So the first one I'm going to mention is SEMrush. Now, it is like one-to-one comparison to Ahrefs. It does like all the other things. Whoops. But I find its user interface a lot more friendly to use. Like, I can actually navigate around and figure out what I want to do. It's got a lot of great tools. I especially like its content marketing stuff, although that is on a higher plan. Unfortunately, it costs about the same as Ahrefs. So Ahrefs is about $100 a month. Same with SEMrush. So it's not cheap, but they do offer a free 7-day trial if you want to just kind of check it out, play around, and see kind of what it is. And you can also, they also have a great free content marketing checklist that I'll link to in the description below. So let me go ahead and I will show you SEMrush. I think I'm downgraded to the free plan right now.
So this is SEMrush. And this is what happens when you log in. And I've been downgraded. They do let you do a little bit of stuff for free, but not a lot. So you can see this is the SEO dashboard. And you can check out, what the domain overview is. You can see sort of my various websites. I just added content to bloggerbreakthrough.com, but you can see elizabethstapleton.com, Less It More Wine have a higher authority score. They've been around a lot longer than bloggerbreakthrough.com has. You see it's been locked, but they also have, you can go to social media, so you can actually do like scheduling, all sorts of stuff, just to they try to make it like your one-stop shop to do all your writing stuff and content creation, scheduling, all that jazz. You can connect social media accounts. I believe you can connect WordPress. The content marketing is really nice. So the writing assistant actually will show up in Google Docs. I am a big Google Docs user, so I've enjoyed using that in the past. As you can see, I'm not currently paying for SEMrush, but I do think it is a really great tool, and I think it's a lot easier to navigate. So if you're a local business, brick and mortar, you want to look at local SEO. Otherwise, regular SEO, social media, content marketing, competitive research, you can see what your competitors are ranking for, are all good tools to use. So Keyword Gap is nice because you can add various domains, your domain, and then a competitor. So let's see if I can do a different one. Let's compare. So it's saying we're comparison. So we have a few that are missing, right, that we could try to rank for, that they also rank for. Eva Baker, she owns the site. Like, we're not going to try to rank for that. But Grayson Bell WordPress, right? Grayson Bell's been one of our great experts, so it won't let us dig into that just because we are on the non-paying plan. We're on a free plan. But it'll list out, okay, what's missing, what's weak, strong, untapped. So if there's some keywords you want to try to rank for, you can see, okay, what are some untapped ones that I have a good chance at? But again, it's $99 a month, or actually a little bit more than that, I think. But I find it's way easier to use than Ahrefs. So if you're looking for like a one-to-one comparison to Ahrefs, SEMrush is going to work really well for you. So let me go ahead and talk about the next Ahrefs alternative I have for you. And this is, I think, the best one for those on a budget, and it's Frase, Frase.io. I got it as a deal through AppSumo. That's how I found out about it. But they have a free plan, which is amazing. And it's actually really well done. There's very few limitations. So on my plan, I get like 30 documents a month that I can work on, which when I'm really in content creation mode and batching is amazing. But if you are just trying to stay ahead a little bit and you're posting like once a week for a blog post, then the free plan for Frase is fantastic. It lets you do up to 5 documents. So what you can do is when you're in Frase, and this isn't my paid plan, I create a free account just so I could show you guys what it looks like. You can do new document, and you can either import one of your posts so you can optimize it for a certain keyword, or you can create a new one. So let's just be really meta and do Ahrefs alternative. So you can hit create document. You can go into advanced settings if you want. I want it to look for like top Google results, not necessarily, you know, a competitor domain, but you could do that as well. And so when it loads over here on the right, so this is a content brief, and you can absolutely, you know, if you're working with a freelance writer, create a content brief to send them, and then they can write the content. You can also do a template. So they have some templates. So if we wanted a listicle, we could use this template and it would fill it in for us. And then we can just go in and add stuff. There's also an AI component that you can use on the free plan, which I was really surprised when I realized they would let you do this. Okay, so Backlinko, which I'm not going to compete with, which is fine. But they have a great title, right? So maybe I want to rework or use that as ideas. And so if I click that little robot icon, it gives me all sorts of ideas for titles. Okay, which it's a lot. And headlines. Normally it doesn't do that many. So, but it's got some great titles. And same thing here. So, headings. You can look at various headings and say, okay, yeah, I do want to do one that has to do with, you know, for beginners, right? So I think the best one for beginners is RankIQ, which I'll talk about in a minute. But Frase is great for bloggers, especially when you're on a budget, because it's free, and their SEO aspect is really geared towards creating content. So that's one way to do it. And you can write and you can see the top scores. Okay, so if you go to top results, you can see what the average word count is and what keep track of where yours is. So that's Frase, and it is fantastic if you are on a budget, if you're a blogger, because it is content focused and it is free. So check out Frase. If you are brand new to blogging and the idea of keyword research just makes your head spin because it is very overwhelming, you're already overwhelmed with tons of stuff, then RankIQ, which is from I think Brian Gailey of Blog Millionaire. I just dove into it this last week. I found out about it because I'm on his mailing list, and it's actually quite nice. It really is just focused on keyword research, but keyword research for people who don't know how to do keyword research and don't want to have to learn. So they've created keyword libraries, and they've only put in there the ones that you are most likely to be able to rank for, right? So that will bring in traffic, right? Because you can rank for something really easily, but if it only gets you 10 hits a year, like, it's not that helpful. So will give you an idea of keywords, and then it will create an AI report, which just helps you, again, sort of creating the content. And when you sign up, there's a video, and this shows you as well, that he walks you through how to use it best. It is $99 a month. Hold on though, right now, because it is a new tool just out of beta, they are doing a 50% discount, so it's like $49.50 a month. So that, I mean, that's really nice, I think. So it's affordable, and I think it's one of those things that maybe you don't need it every month, but you can go in there to get started with coming up with your content plan for sure. I think it's a great tool for doing some keyword research, because Phrase isn't going to do the keyword research, but I think Rank IQ and Phrase together are a fantastic team in terms of finding out what keywords you want to target and then writing content around them. So Rank IQ, I think, is the best Ahrefs alternatives for bloggers just getting started in SEO. The final alternative I want to share is SERPstat. And again, this was an AppSumo find for me many years ago, but they are less expensive than Ahrefs. I think their lowest price plan is $69 a month. And unfortunately, they don't offer like a free trial, but I really like using them for site audits and keeping track of any tech issues that my site may have. My site totally has some tech issues I've got to tackle right now, but it'll tell you, broken pages, broken links, if stuff is being redirected too much. So those are sort of the things that SERPstat I kind of look at and use for this. They do also have keyword research, backlink analysis. So you can really compare it one-to-one with Ahrefs or SEMrush and just get it at a lower price point. But it's, let's see, let's get the pricing real quick. But personally, I primarily tend to use it for site audits. So if you're looking for something that makes the site audits and fixing them easy, then I think it's a great tool for that. So hopefully that's been helpful and you have some ideas on how to tackle SEO without the overwhelm or the price tag of Ahrefs. With these other alternatives that I think are perfect for bloggers. I think the winning combination is Rank IQ and Phrase, but SEMrush is fantastic. Again, it's all in one. I think the user interface is way friendlier than Ahrefs. You can actually figure out what you want to do there. And SERPstat is a great sort of lower cost version of sort of the all-in-ones of Ahrefs and SEMrush. So, but if you're blogging and you're just starting out and you don't want to have to become an SEO expert, then I think Rank IQ combined with the Phrase free plan to start, you may upgrade that later. It's super affordable too. It starts out at $45 a month, they have a free plan, right? So the first paid tier plan is $45 a month. That gives you 30 documents. So if you're really pumping out content or you have a lot of freelancers, because you can share the documents of Phrase with them so they can write, that is also a good deal. If by the time you're pumping out that much content, you can probably afford to pay that, but you can always use the free plan in the meantime. All right, that is it for this video. I hope you got a lot out of it and that it's been helpful. And if you have questions, let me know in the comments, or just let me know which one you're gonna check out and try. Tomorrow, I am coming out with a video on Phrase in the free plan, just digging in a little deeper to some of the stuff you can do. And so if you wanna kind of learn more about Phrase, definitely check out that video.